Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF USA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info.
Alright, good evening everybody and welcome to the Sim Experience IBF USA GT3 World Series Round 6, coming to you live from Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell and I'm joined once again by Sean Woodgate. Good evening, Sean.
Good evening, Dennis, and what an iconic track we're at tonight.
Probably the longest track on the calendar, but like you said, that's probably the most iconic. And I'm pretty sure that anyone who knows anything about racing will be aware of Spa-Francorchamps or the name Eau Rouge. It's one of the most famous complex of corners in the world. These days it's not as challenging as it was in the past, but certainly in the past it was one of the most challenging to navigate through, let alone go through flat out. These days, certainly in a Formula 1 car, it's pretty much flat out through there, no matter your fuel load. I think on a full load they might just tap off slightly while they were letting the tires warm up, but not what it used to be. But in these cars, certainly a challenge to go through there flat out.
Yep. If you wonder where the name comes from, it's the Red Water. It's a stream running under the bridge at the foot of Rydelion, which is actually the second part of the complex. But yes, the Red Water, Eau Rouge.
All right, then this, of course, is round 6 of the championship. So we are into the latter half of our championship. So we will be following this with Mexico Grand Prix circuit. Then round 8 will be Montreal in Canada. Then Sebring in America. And then finally Monza in Italy, another iconic circuit. I think Monza and Spa are the two most iconic on our calendar. Maybe Silverstone as well, also one that's been around a long time and everyone knows the Nürburgring. But certainly Spa and Monza are two of the most amazing tracks. And just to let everyone know how our point system works. This is the point system for the sprint race. Drivers that finish first will get 20 points versus the driver that finishes first in the feature race will get 40 points. There's 1 point for pole position and 1 point for the fastest lap in either race. And looking at our championships at the moment, in our veterans class we have Maurice van Wyk taking the lead once again. Andre Hildebrandt has now moved back into second place, so Harvick has dropped down to third again. And then our pro drivers, or the overall drivers, we have first Jason Underwood now taking the lead from Chris Collison, who's now dropped down, I think, to second place. Since the first round he's been in first place, so now dropped down to second place. Stanton Augustus down to third still. And if we look at the actual points at the moment, Jason currently on 207 points and Chris on 206 points. Only 1 point separating the Team Harder Racing drivers. Stanton Augustus for Fach Auto Tech Esports on 164, so a little bit shy of them, but still plenty of points on the board with the rounds remaining. Moving up to fourth place in the championship, Jean de Toy having 3 victories in a row, definitely doing the trick, moving up. Timo Smith dropping down to 5th place now. Adrian Nell also moving up to 6th place. Gerrit, 7th place. Sean dropping down to 8th place. Julian moving up to 9th place. Yandre moving down to 10th. So lots of movement in the top 10. So getting very, very, very close for the drivers there. And then, of course, the team. We still have Team Harder Racing in first place. They have quite a large lead over Fach Auto Tech Esports. Unfortunately, that gap is pretty large. It's going to take a lot to beat them, but anything is possible. BP Racing in 3rd place, PZN in 4th place, and Minions in 5th place. So a couple of changes there, nothing too major. More of the changes happening down the lower end. We have... Yes.
If you look at the team racing, 3rd to 7th, I think are separated by only 16 points. 144 for BP Racing in 3rd, and 128 for Midnight Code in 7th. So that middle of the pack, as far as the teams are concerned, is very close.
Yes, it's just a pity that first place is so far ahead. Otherwise, it's going to be a very close fight for second.
Yeah.
And with obviously with the teams, you have 2 drivers in a team that can score points. Well, some of the teams only have a single, but it's the top driver that gets the points. So it's very, very competitive for the teams.
Yeah, we did ask Minions Racing if Timo is going to consider getting a teammate, but he runs on his own. If he had a teammate, he'd probably be doing quite a bit better as a team. But that's just the way it is.
All right, the drivers are now heading back on track for qualifying. We will just head into that as we see one of the first drivers heading out on track. So this is official qualifying. This is the Sim Experience South Africa IBF USA GT3 World Series Round 6 from Spa-Francorchamps. Qualifying, official qualifying has started. It's a 15-minute session. The track is 7 kilometers long, or 4.35 miles long, so definitely one of the longest on the calendar.
I'll probably only get in 3, maybe at a push 4 laps for qualifying.
Yep, they're going to have to definitely push, and it's using the endurance pit lane, which as you can see is a long exit. They come out just, well, the exit, the line is just before Eau Rouge, but they got to take the wide line on the outside and they enter the track just after Eau Rouge on the straight. So that is a long pit lane, roughly 60 seconds to head into the pits and out the pits. So it is definitely something they have to take into consideration if they're going to be pitting for more fuel or tires during qualifying.
It's a long minute, and I should imagine listening to the drivers in drivers briefing, you raring to go, but you've got to stay within track limits, both in stay your side of the white line and within the speed in the track, in the pit lane itself.
All right, so currently watching one of the BP drivers. Now, both of them have been pretty quick. We are watching Gerrit at the moment. Let me get that up as well. So Gerrit has been one of the top drivers. He, I think, has the fastest time on the server at the moment. But like Long Beach, he also had the fastest time there, but wasn't able to use it to his advantage when the racing actually kicked off. Didn't actually have the greatest of results. So I was expecting him to at least be on the podium, but he actually struggled in the latter half of the races. So let's see, is he going to be stronger here? Is he going to not qualify as good, but focus more on the race? Or is he going to be high up in the qualifying and fade off towards the latter stages in the races? We'll have to wait and see.
I don't see his teammate Tony De Lima made it to the racing tonight, so he'll be flying the BP flag all on his own.
I think he was in at some point. He has been on the server quite a lot, but I'm not sure where he is at the moment. They also have a new skin for their car, which is not loaded yet. It will be loaded for the next round. I just didn't have time to get that all changed. They will have a new look from the next round. I'm not too sure exactly what it looks like. I haven't actually seen it yet myself. But let's go on board and have a lap. And it decides to change, right? There we go. Right, heading into turn 1. One of the tightest corners on the circuit.
La Source, which is the source of the water that they talk about in Eau Rouge.
And Tony has actually joined the server. That was why there was a bit of a hiccup there. Every time someone joins and you're in this view, it unfortunately pauses like that. So he has joined the server. He's currently showing in 25th place and has actually joined the track.
They've gone through Eau Rouge, through Ridelion. This is the Kennel Straight. The BMs stay in 5th gear. And then for this corner down into 2nd, stay in 2nd. This short straight bit they get into 3rd until they exit right. Then they're into 4th. All the way down to the next corner, which is Brussels. There they're into 2nd gear. Round the corner, it seems to go on forever. It is a hairpin. 3rd gear. As they then get to the left-hander, which is also known as Speaker's Corner, because you can hear the speakers from a distance away. They'll be 4th just by this bridge, or after the bridge they'll be into 5th, back into 4th again for the double gauche, which is left and more left and more left. The Aston Martin actually, as they exit here, the Beamer goes into 5th, the Aston actually gets into 6th. Then here they'll be all the way down into 2nd gear for Les Fagnes, and it's a left-right, right-left chicane, sorry, got it the wrong round, under the bridge, and then 2nd gear for Campus, 3rd gear, 4th gear through Stavelot to the right. There's a house, that's a nice marker, that house with a pitched roof in the distance. Then it seems to be ongoing, Curve Paul Frère, 5th gear, 6th gear, if they're lucky, with a BM, and that goes left, left, and more left. Blanchimont is the corner that they're tearing through now. And you will see the grandstands in the distance. That means you've got to prepare for the chicane, and it's also where you peel off the track to go into the pits. There's the line, so there's the chicane, the slowest point on the circuit, and we're back into the straight, and that's one lap of Spa-Francorchamps.
Alright, so we have several other views tonight. So one of the views we have will be of Jason Underwood. He's got his camera set up, so currently on his flying lap. He's in sector 2 at the moment. I'm going to see if I can get that ready for us. So we can see Jason, the heavy concentration there. You can see where his eyes are looking. We can see he's busy talking, probably to his teammate Chris. They're in voice communication throughout the race.
I think that's Harvey that he's coming up to now, and Harvey will take the racing line, and that'll destroy a bit of his race or his lap time. Harvey will hold, or will Harvey get out the way? Does he get a bit of a slipstream? I think that would have probably taken a bit of time away, if anything.
Yeah, he might have got a little bit of a toe coming up to the final chicane, but then probably slightly slow afterwards. I see he's now back out of it.
Harvey goes past him, which is unusual to see. I think he's gone back into pits.
Yeah, indeed.
It's a deep breath. You can see the angst, as it were, that they have. They really concentrate. These cars are, you think it's sim racing, but you really have your wits about you to keep them online and facing in the right direction. It's very much as if you are racing a real car. And the time ticks by, 8 minutes 20 to go. As we said before, on a 7-kilometer circuit, you don't have many laps in which to set up. And as Dennis was saying, Gerrit Bierkes in the BP car, number 3, he's the man to watch. That BMW is pole at the moment. Chris Collison second, Jason Underwood is third. I'm not sure that they'll be too concerned about that, because the points allocation in the sprint race are halved compared to the feature race. So they might give up track position. There's one of the harder racing cars coming down pit lane. One of the PZN BMWs, I think it was, that went through, André Dippenaar. PZN panel beaters. You can see there on the left-hand side the cars coming out of pit lane, and there you can see how far it's actually through the end of Radillion that they actually join the circuit again. So you're in pit lane for an incredibly long time, and there's quite a few corners of the circuit that you miss. You miss the second part of this chicane, you miss La Source, and you enter basically on the way into, in fact, Eau Rouge already. Andre Duppenard, let's see where he's running. He's in 6th position with a time over 2:17. The quickest time by Gerrit at the moment at 2:16.3. So that's just an idea. There it is on screen. Chris Collison just 0.2 of a second behind him. Everything to race for, of course, 4th position. Somebody spins in sector 3. It looks as though they've cleared that again. But Jan-Ray going, well, let's see what times Jan-Ray puts up. He has a personal best in sector 1, but not anything exceptional in sector 2. Stanton had a personal best, all greens for the sectors. Looks like they have 4 sectors on this track. Let me just go back to the top to see. Actually, no, the first one is the last lap. So the last lap was almost everybody's best lap. But Gerrit having, and he was out quick. He got 4 laps under the belt already. So 6 minutes still to go. Talking of Gerrit, there he is. With his 2:16.3 showing next door to him. And there the time ticks by in sector 1. Let's see what the lap scoring monitor tells us. It's not his best, a 37.5 second. He's done better than that before in sector 1. All is not lost. He can gain time in sector 2 and 3, but it can be difficult to claw the time back.
I'm just going to jump to another driver. So one of the other drivers that has another feed tonight is Julian. So we will be seeing Julian tonight. Currently on a personal best in sector 1.
He drives the Porsche number 40 for High Revolution Racing.
Right, and there we can see Julian.
So concentrating really hard. You see the red light that flashes every now and then? It's if you take it right up to the rev limiter, and the idea is to go as close to the rev limiter as possible, but not stay in the rev limits for long before changing gears. So they want to utilize every bit power that the car can give back. So the Porsche, I'm not sure what the Porsche revs to, but certainly you can see the 2 lights that any racing car has that is very bright is the rev limiter, and then the other one, which probably twice as big, will be the oil pressure gauge. If you lose oil pressure, then the chances are your motor's blown and you will have a very bright light that comes on. I think he's just changed the setup there on something, probably brake bias. There's the Fach Autotech eSport car of Stanton Augustus, and Stanton, I think, is 3rd in the championships, but a long way behind Chris and Jason. Stanton running the Porsche, and Chris in 2nd, Jason in 1st. The 2 of them in Team Harder Racing run the Aston Martin.
Yeah, it's seeing a bit of feedback. The stream is looking a little bit laggy at the moment. I'm actually using a different codec tonight. I'm going to just do a brief pause of the stream and then rejoin, so hopefully everything runs smooth. So if you could please just hang tight, I'll be back shortly.
Right, I'll carry on for the time being. Those teammates that are 1st and 2nd in the championship, although the other way around, that they are now in 2nd and 3rd, they are in 3rd and 2nd. Jean-Ray Detoy, car number 737, part of the Boeing Brigade, as I've nicknamed them. That's the Aston Martin of PZN Racing. He's in 4th position, and Adrian Nel, number 15. He runs the Porsche for Midnight Code. He's in the 5th position.
All right, so hopefully the feed will be better now. Thanks for the feedback there, Gerrit, and welcome to Caroline as well, and Monet Detoy in the stream. Good evening, everyone. We are now using a different codec. I'm just sort of messing around with different things, trying to get things to run smooth, as I had a few issues again and I wasn't too sure what they were. Yeah, looking much smoother now though. What a difference.
A lot of hard work that goes into setting up the racing so that it's not only good for the drivers, but also for the spectators out there that have taken the time out to actually watch the racing. And the 1.5 minutes, just a little bit more. We certainly do value the click and subscribe thing to show us that you join us on every race. Rian van der Westhuizen in what looks like a bright, well, it's not a bright orange, but the PZN Weldmec racing team. So I'm just to have a quick squiz down who the two are that run. It's Rian van der Westhuizen, and the other one in the Weldmec car is Pieter Marais, number 420. And Pieter Marais is in 13th position at the moment. So Rian van der Westhuizen number...
So he won't be going out again.
Well, a minute to go. It looks as though Chris, if this is the finish line that he's coming across now, this will be his last lap.
Starting just in time with a minute to go.
Yeah, and the Weldmec car behind him will come over, and the one behind them still. Not quite sure who that was.
Sorry, I've clicked on the
40
wrong
seconds.
button there. I believe that's because I clicked on a name which is about to cross the line, and it was Adrian, and he's just taken pole position.
Right, Adrian does a 216.286. That's 14/1000th of a second. So that's the quickest lap, his own personal bests in all three sectors. And that gives him pole by a very, very small margin to Gerrit Beekes. And 13 seconds to go in qualifying. So this is the last run for Adrian. He will be trying his utmost. Interesting to see who else comes across the finish line with 3, 2, 1. And if you haven't crossed the finish line by now, then you are on your finish lap as he scrubs tires onto the left. Certainly will slow you down because you've got to think about getting the car back online. Chris Collison, let's see where Chris is. He hasn't had a best time in sector 1. Let's see if anybody pops into the colors, into the purples in this lap, because as we know, whoever is out on track and past the finish line before the time ran out, there's the two teammates of Team Harder Racing. So Chris Collison in third, Adrian Nel in second. Gerrit Beekes has just, without us even noticing it, has run a 216.029.
Wow.
So that's more than 0.2 of a second quicker than Adrian, and Gerrit in the BP Racing BMW back into pole.
Well, I guess that answers my question whether he was going for race pace or qualifying pace. Well, that's definitely a qualifying pace.
Yeah, certainly is flying along. I just want to see, as I have a quick glance, I don't see any purples. I missed Gerrit. I was looking at what was happening on track, but certainly a great lap that Gerrit put in there, 216.029. Stanton Augustus.
Personal best in the first sector, not so great in the middle sector, but he could still improve if he has a good, strong final sector, because it's sort of evened out with what he's gained and lost.
He's in 6th position at the moment, and he hopes to gain on Jean-Ray Detoy and potentially Jason, because now what's happened with Gerrit and Adrian in 1st and 2nd, Chris and Jason are in 3rd and 4th. But as I said before, it's a sprint race. Let's see if Stanton can improve on his position as he comes across the line soon.
And he doesn't. What about his teammate, Donny? Donny about to come across the line, 2 personal bests. Will he jump up from 19th?
Belafonte in 19th position.
And he does, up to 18th. Picks off 1 place. And I guess we're going to jump to an ad break quickly, because he is the last driver on track at the moment. Everyone else is in the pits, so we will be back shortly.
Right, until then, thanks, Dennis.
Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International, The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF USA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF USA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info.
All right, welcome back everybody. We are now live. The Sim Experience IBF USA GT3 World Series Round 6 Race 1, which is our sprint race, our 6-lap sprint race. From Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell, joined again by Sean Woodgate.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to be a great circuit.
Of course, this is round 6 of our 10-round championship, which will be followed by Mexico Grand Prix circuit, Montreal in Canada, which is another fantastic circuit, Sebring, which is going to be a total different ball game with bumps, and Monza, which is going to be probably one of the fastest circuits on the calendar. And we can look at our standings. So for the Pro Series, we have Jason Underwood flipping Chris Collison for the lead after the last round, and Stanton Augustus in 3rd place. In our veterans, we have Marius van Wyk still in 1st place, Andre Hildebrandt taking back 2nd place from Javi Roos in 3rd place. And the overall standings, Jason Underwood leads Chris Collison by 1 point over his teammate. Leads his teammate by 1 point. Stanton Augustus in 3rd place. Jean-Louis de Toy, 4th place. Timo Smit, 5th place. Adrian Nel, 6th place. Gerrit Bukes in 7th place, or Bukes. 8th, we have Sean Olivier. 9th, Julian Brains. 10th, Yandre Dupinard. Rian van der Vestes in 11th. Richard Cillier in 12th place. Peter Murray, 13th. Andre Besson in 14th. 15th place, Dani Stander. Sean Johnson in 16th place. Peter Geldenes, 17th. And Wessel Viljoen in 18th. Of course, we do have I think it's 20 or 32 drivers in total, but the leaderboard isn't long enough for them. The team championship, we have Team Harder Racing in 1st place with quite a commanding lead over Fach Auto Tech Esport, BP Racing in 3rd, PZN in 4th, Minions in 5th place. I'm going to now go to our grid. I'm not sure how much longer I have, so I'm just going to go to that so that I don't run out of time. Perhaps Sean, if you'd like to talk us through this.
Right, wait for it to pop up. I can see the Team Harder colleagues there in 2nd and 3rd position. But Gerrit Bierkes, the grid hasn't popped up yet. There it comes up now. Gerrit Bierkes, the BP Racing team in 1st. Adrian Nel in Midnight Code 2nd. Chris Collison, Jason Underwood, both in Team Harder Racing are 3rd and 4th. In 5th position, Jean-Ray de Toy, PZN Racing. Stanton Augustus in what they call the Fat Esport team. They're in 6th. Then it's Yandre Dupinard, PZN, and Antonio de Lima, also in the BP Racing team. Richard Cillier, PZN. Sean Olivier, Thorex Racing is 10th. Andre Besson in the BMW is 11th. And Peter Geldenes is in 12th position. Then it's Julian Rian van der Westhuizen, also PZN. Wildbank Racing is 14th, 15th Peter Murray, 16th is Andre Hildebrandt. Sean Johnson, Donny Belafonte, Dinesh Singh is 19th, Marius van Wyk in 20th position. 21st, Javi Roos, GDR Racing, stand beside note our sponsor IBF USA, 22nd. Rudy is in 23rd position, PZN Racing, and Weasel Diesel in the next position. And the last on the list today, JP Cillier, PZN Trucking, car number 89. He's on the last slot. He runs a McLaren. So we'll wait and see whether he's going to be able to improve that position any as the race goes on. This is only a sprint race, but the result of the sprint race will determine the start of the main race. There's the chicane. They'll be coming slowly down this start, the main straight, until the bridge, just holding their positions, giving everybody a chance to get out onto the chicane. I think they said they're going to hold it until the turn 1, which they're doing very nicely. I think everybody else at the back there needs to catch up. They said they're going to hold it until turn 1. The race has started, but just out of fairness, they've decided let's hold it until turn 1, and then off we go. So away they go, and it'll be down to Eau Rouge, which is one of those circuits, well, one of the corners in this iconic circuit that everybody remembers. And
Jason up the inside there of Jean-Ray already into Eau Rouge. Whoa, it's a brave start.
Yes, certainly that's not a place known for overtaking, but if the gap is there and you can do it safely, then certainly you can. Now here they go through Kemmel, and the Kemmel straight seems to be never ending before it gets to Les Coombs. which they'll be through the gearbox into second position, second gear again, to do the chicane right-left, and then it'll be Malmedy. They go through again quite a series. It's a complex of corners, right, left, right, and then they come down the hill again, which is probably the southernmost point. Brussels, I think Brussels was actually had another name at one stage, and I've got to find it. Rivage. So that's the southernmost point of the circuit. Then Speaker's Corner, they come up the hill again from there, and it'll be left as they go through there, the double gauche, left and more left. For the Aston Martins, before they get to Le Fagnes, they actually get into sixth gear. The BMWs seem to stay in fifth. And this is also a right-left combination, which takes them to Campus, which is a right, and another right, which is Stavelot. Under the bridge there, that's Campus. Then it goes straight for a little bit, third gear, fourth gear, into Stavelot. They hold it in fourth gear through Stavelot. You see that house on the left with a black roof, that's a nice marker for Stavelot Corner. Then they'll be into fifth gear, under the bridge there, sixth gear, some of the cars. Not all of them, I think the BMW stays in fifth. The Aston and the McLaren goes into sixth gear, all green as you see the green light there, through Blanchimont. And then they'll be seeing the grandstand. These cars that are going through the chicane now already would have seen the grandstand ahead of them through the chicane to start another lap.
Oh, we see a car spinning in the background. I believe that's Tony.
Yeah, it'll be the one of the BP Racing BMWs. And the Boeing Brigade, let's see which one of those are the Boeing. That's Jean-Ray Dutoy. He's well placed in fifth position. But it looks as though Gerrit Beekes has got the jump on him in the BMW that really did get going. The BP Racing BMW, followed by the Aston Martin of Chris Collison. So behind Chris Collison, Adrian Nel. And Adrian Nel runs the Porsche for Midnight Code. And he's making life very difficult, is Adrian, for Chris Collison. Chris Collison, I think, has to do the defending concentration rather than running his own race, which allows Gerrit to get away, and also means that Jason Underwood is able to catch up. Somebody going wide there. Is that the BMW? No. They all seem to get it back again. This is a very tricky circuit, a lot of elevation changes, and if you take the Brussels hairpin, that's a downhill hairpin, which unbalances the car quite a lot, because not only are you going downhill, you're also turning, so you're really making use of the compression on your suspension. But Gerrit Beekes leads by 1.5 seconds, which is quite a margin in a sprint race. The Team Harder Racing guys are in third and fourth. Adrian Nel is holding on to second position for now. I think that was Chris putting a wheel off on the left. And certainly that unsettles the car a little bit if you look at the concentration that these guys really have. Team Harder Racing trying their utmost to hold on to their position. This is Jason Underwood that we're looking at, concentrating really hard. Just see what time we've done.
Trying to count the seconds between eyes blinking.
Yeah. You must shout if I'm hogging the...
13 seconds for an eye blink.
My goodness.
Chris almost going
there's a
off
mistake. Yeah, Chris made a mistake, very definitely. That means Jason will get through. That was through the chicane. So I think he was probably a little bit quick into the first part of the chicane, and he slots in behind Jason. But what's the difference? It's a second. So not only does he lose track position, he loses a second in time to his teammate ahead of him. Oh, he's going to get a track warning, Jason, if he carries on like that. A couple of identifiers here. You can see the grandstand. So the main straight is not very difficult. Then at La Source, sorry, the other end now that we go through Eau Rouge, there's certainly a house on the left, then Radillion. And this is the straight where, unluckily, we're not in car with the cars that we're running at the moment. The 737 is Jean-Ray Dutoy. That's an Aston Martin. That actually gets into sixth gear before they get into Les Combes, Malmedy, and then head down to Rivage, or what's now known as Brussels. But the Astons get into 6th gear, as do the McLarens, but the BMW at that fast point seems to be in 5th. But ironically, the BMW in 5th gear is quicker than any of the other two in 6th gear.
That's obviously very, very long gearing.
Yes. The Aston gets into 6th gear before they even go into Eau Rouge. And then it just stays in 6th gear all the way through Eau Rouge, Rodillion, Kemmel, and all the way down to Les Combes, and then that rapid gear change down into 2nd gear. Just having quick...
There's lots happening in the field at the moment. Sorry to butt in there.
No problem. They actually only get into 1st gear again there's two places. The chicane, which is the start of the straight, and then La Source, which is the end of the straight. So the straight is demarcated by 1st gear and 1st gear corners. So twice, so you really get through the gearbox. And by the time they cross the finish line on the straight, they're into 4th gear already. So
you see the battle here between the two IBF drivers. Interesting, Dean Ash wasn't sure if he'd be able to make the race because of load shedding, but he actually did. So thankfully we do have him in the race with us. Oh, is he Stan going off there? Dean Ash will head up the inside of him there. Stan thankfully makes it back on track without any incident.
Yeah, there's the old style gravel trap still there, although a lot of this circuit, the more difficult corners, if you take Rodillion, that's been made, there might be a track limit warning, if any. If any time there will be this, that certainly would have been one of them. But this track, a lot of it, what used to be gravel is now tarmac.
Oh, Andre spinning in the background there.
Bad luck he's had. I'm trying to think who runs. That's Andre Hildebrandt, and he's in 2nd position in the Masters class. So gets it spun around again. That's the Martini car. I'm just trying to find who runs the Martini car. It's Andre Hildebrandt, yes, as you said. And he's now behind is that Harvey Ghost that he's
now back. Harvey's actually leading Morris, and Morris is leading the veterans at the moment. Harvey's in 3rd. So Harvey at the moment is the top of the veteran drivers. They're doing a sterling job at the moment.
Yeah, and I just looked at his line through Rouge and Rodillion, and Harvey seems to have that one under the belt. He had a really nice run through those set of corners because they proved to be quite difficult. Nice to see that while I was watching, just to get a lay of the land, the same crane that I saw in the other races that I watched, but all in GT3, it's also in this rendition, and those trucks on the hill also used as landmarks. So certainly this car, and that is at Brussels, the trucks on the hill. So Speaker's Corner that they're going through now, and then they'll go through really a nice section of the circuit here as they go downhill. And then it's the left-hander, Marius van Wyk. He's got to get it all back together again. He'll be chasing after Harvey.
Now, taking a bit too much track liberties there is going to get warnings for that. If you take too much, you will get drive-throughs, and you definitely don't want to drive through with a long pit lane here.
Oh, it's last, what did we say, 60 seconds it takes you to get through this long pit lane, the extended pit lane.
Yes, that was what Stan had told me, that he did a test just to see and count it, and yeah, 60 seconds.
Now, Tony De Lima was in the top 5 or thereabouts, I think top 6, 7, and he's all the way after that spin down in 17th position. So he's not going to be too happy about that, because the finish order of the sprint race determines the start of the main race.
Oh, Morris has got past Harvey in front of us while we're watching Tony, when they both run wide there.
Both of them running off. So they're really pushing track limits and then some.
Good to see Harvey having a nice battle there.
Yes. I was about to say, if you can see the grandstands in front of you, then you should already be going down in the gearbox, because then you're aiming at the chicane, and here they go down the main straight. On their way to La Source, again first gear. It's almost hairpin to the right, and Harvey gets that quite nice and neat. Gets a good line out of it, and let's see his run through Eau Rouge and Rodillion.
I'm just going to jump to the leaders because they are extremely close. We have Adrian now closing in on Garrett at the moment.
Yeah, 0.4 of a second, and he had the last lap, best lap of the race. Not only for himself, but fastest overall, because that's his last lap was a 2:17.5. He holds the best lap, so bonus point, 2:17.09. But
He's flashing Garrett. That's cheeky of him. That's
for
brilliant.
second and first, yeah, certainly making Gerrit know that he's there. But Gerrit has his right to take the racing line because, of course, this is. Let's see where they're running now. They're
For position, first and second, yeah.
Yes. There's third and fourth behind them, which is Jason and Chris. I think Jason and Chris will settle for that. Just concentrate on keeping the car on the road. But Adrian would like to get pole because I think on this track, pole position is important so that you get through Eau Rouge and Rodillion first. But that straight from Rodillion all the way to Les Combes, that is never ending. So the slipstream that you can have through there, if you do have the opportunity, might make a difference. The Porsche, I didn't get to drive in the Porsche around here on rFactor 2, so I have no idea what gears they use and what times they set up and what their top speed is. But certainly the BMW only in fifth gear, never higher than fifth, but it's the fastest car at the fast point at the back straight, or the straight, that long straight. Are they now starting the last lap?
Yes, this is now the last lap.
Right, so the BMW Racing Team car just holding on to that. Gerrit Beekes, the BP Racing, I said the BMW Racing, my brain and my tongue not in the same page. But certainly Adrian weaving from left to right, right to left, trying to unsettle Gerrit Beekes. But Gerrit just holds the racing line, and Eau Rouge and Rodillion is certainly not the place to do a pass. Now it's that long straight, and if you can get a good slipstream, this would be the place to do it. The BMW gets out of the line to break the slipstream, but also is he going to get up on the inside? It's been to his own disadvantage. It unbalanced the car completely, and I think he will now concentrate on staying ahead of Jason Underwood.
Gained quite a lot in there. I think there was a bit of contact, and that's why the rear end came around in him there.
He was quick to catch it, I must say. But certainly this portion of the track I really, really enjoy because there's so much that you've got to work. You can't relax for an instant. It's on the gearbox, downhill, and then they go through the gears again until they come. This is the right-hander, which goes on and on. Sorry, the left, which goes on and on and on. And they go through straight again before they go into the right. So working the gearbox all the time, the right-left combination. It's Les Fanges, I think it is, and they'll be under the bridge, and it'll be Campus Corner, then Stavelot, and we're out of the car, so we don't see the house on the hill. So that'll be Stavelot, and then they'll just be through the gearbox and accelerating all the way until they get to Blanchimont. And if they look up, they should see the grandstands, and that'll mean they'll have to slow down for the chicane, for the checkered flag. Gerrit Beekes looks as though he's going to take this one by about half a second or more. Holds on. There he is with Adrian Nel behind him. There's the chicane.
Oh, Adrian nice and loose, getting the rear end to pick the car around. That was nicely done. Running out of time. And I believe that is the victory for Gerrit, his first victory in the series. Congratulations. Fantastic
And a bonus
drive.
point to Adrian for the quickest lap time. Second, Adrian Nel. Third, Jason Underwood. Fourth, Chris Collison. Jean-Ray de Toy in 737 PZN Racing was in fifth position. Stanton Augustus in the Porsche in sixth. Jandre de Pinar, number 9. He runs for PZN Panel Beaters. He was in seventh. Julian Brains had a good race because I don't think he had as good a qualifying. He runs with High Revolution Racing and finishing in eighth. Peter Murray in ninth. Richard Sillier rounds off the top 10.
D Nash in the end finishing in 17th place, just outside of the points. RV taking 16th.
See, yeah, Tony De Lima after that spin all the way finishing in 15th, which is where I called him earlier on. And Harvey's going to be, I think, quite chuffed with a 16th place finish. It's outside of the points, I think, but at least it's not in beyond the 20s. So Harvey had a decent race where he kept the car together, kept it on the road, and even had a pass here and there and was passed as well. And you can speak to any racing driver. If you run in isolation and have a boring race, you'd rather be down the grid a bit. You're happy to take the points, but you'd rather be involved in a bit of a battle.
JP getting it wrong in the final corner.
Luckily, it didn't cost him any place, but he comes through, JP still here in 19th position. It's in the Martini Racing colours.
A rather lonely drive for Sean Johnson. I expected him to be further up the field. He knows the track very well, and he's obviously quite a competitive driver when it comes to race day, but just not having a good race. And a DNF for Wessel Viljoen. Not sure what happened there.
And also for Sean Olivier. So, but yeah.
So Rudy van der Veste is the final driver on track. Coming up to the final chicane now.
And Rudy is ahead of Harvey in the Masters. So Harvey will be, if I've got it right.
No, so, Rudy's not in the Masters.
Oh, no, it's Marius that I'm confusing. Yeah. It's Marius, Andre, Hildebrand, and Harvey.
Right, that is the final driver to cross the line. I'm going to jump to an ad break. We'll be back probably in a few minutes' time with the feature race. So stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly.
Speak to you later.
Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF USA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF USA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF USA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF USA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF USA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info.
Welcome back, everybody. We are now live for the feature race of the Sim Experience South Africa IBF USA GT3 World Series Round 6 from Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. It's quite a mouthful. This is, of course, the feature race. It's a 60-minute race, a 7-kilometer circuit, or 4.35 miles. I'm your commentator, Dennis Mitchell, and I'm joined once again by Sean Woodgate.
And it's going to be a great evening at a great circuit.
Unfortunately, we've had a bit of lag in the first race. Hopefully it gets better in this one. I think it could also be just certain settings, because there's a lot of guys. It's a very big circuit, and maybe it's just some sort of setting that needs to be changed. It's the same settings we had at the previous round, so not sure why it is a little bit worse. So hopefully you can bear with us and it will improve as the race goes on. Of course, this is round 6 of our championship. We'll be following Spa with round 7 from Mexico Grand Prix, round 8 from Montreal, round 9 from Sebring, and round 10 from Monza. Our pro top 3, we have Jason Underwood in first, Chris Collison in second, and Stanton Augustus in third. In our veterans class, Marius van Wyk in first, Andre Hildebrand in second, and Javi Goos in third. In our championship points coming into this round, we have Jason Underwood on 207 points, just 1 point ahead of Chris Collison, his teammate. Stanton Augustus in third on 164. Fourth place, Jean-Louis du Toit. Fifth place, Timo Smit. Sixth place, Adrian Nel. Seventh place, Gerrit Bucas. Eighth place, Sean Olivier. Ninth place, Julian Brains. 10th place, Jandre Duppenaar. 11th place, Rian van der Westhuizen. 12th place, Richard Celia. 13th place, Peter Murray. 14th place, Andre Besson. 15th place, Donnie Stander. 16th place, Sean Johnson. 17th place, Peter Geldenes. And 18th place, Wessel Viljoen. In our team championship, we have Team Harder Racing in first, Fachwater Tech Esport in second, BP Racing third, PZN Racing fourth, Minions Racing in fifth, PZN Panel Beaters sixth, Midnight Code in seventh, PZN Weldmec Racing in eighth, Thorax Racing in ninth, Team High Revolution Racing in 10th, Sim Experience SA 11th, GDR Racing 12th, IBF USA in 13th, G-Force Fitment Center in 14th, and SRC Motorsport in 15th. Alright, so the drivers are following the pace car at the moment. The pace car is taking it quite casually. We just have to wait that the drivers will hopefully take it casually as well and not jump the start. A long lap, 7 kilometers, so at this pace it takes quite a long time to get around. Surprised that more drivers not weaving like that. Sorry, what is that, Sean?
I'm saying a lot of corners to get used to, I think, from a commentary perspective as well as a driver, and landmarks to look out for so that you know where you are on the track. It's certainly an interesting circuit. Elevation changes also, unlike some of the tracks that we've been at recently. Long Beach, California is flat as a pancake. Here you have, as an example, this one that we're going through now is a long downhill. Eau Rouge is a big downhill, then Eau Rouge, which is uphill to Redillion. So then that straight Camel to Les Combes, that's quite flat, but you will see as they go along at Bruxelles, formerly I think also known as Rivage, that there's a downhill hairpin, which makes it more interesting. Here they're heading up an uphill section again. So an interesting layout, certainly the circuit.
I think it's what makes the circuit so enjoyable for the drivers is all the undulations and of course the speeds that you're achieving while going through them, and especially Eau Rouge, you know, you've got the way it drops down and then climbs up the hill that pushes you down to the seat, and that I know certainly from biking when I used to race, there were certain corners that would do the exact same thing, and that was what I enjoyed the most.
Watching the guys on Sim Racing Various, I was looking at 3 cars going through Eau Rouge that I could find on YouTube, and some of them feather, although yeah, they're going into the chicane, so we'll be going to the start, so I'll keep that for later.
Right, everyone will now hopefully fall into position side by side. Adrian now with a penalty.
He was ahead for a long portion of the pace lap.
I wonder if that is maybe something that has given him a penalty.
He was ahead of Gerrit. I didn't say anything about it at the time because I didn't know at what stage the penalties get dished out, but he was ahead of Gerrit for a long portion of the pace lap. Right, I think they're racing now.
Right, they're waiting till get past the bridge is kind of where the gentleman's agreement is to put foot.
It's the bridge before Eau Rouge then that they decide to put foot. Okay, that's very well done actually, because you're not as hard on the suspension going through the bottom section before going up to Eau Rouge. That doesn't actually have a name, but it is where the stream runs through from the top of the mountain. Nice clean start by everybody, and Adrian now already hunting down Gerrit Beekes as they get through the first set of turns at Les Combes, Malmedy, and then it'll be down the hill to what's now known as Bruxelles, formerly known as Rivage. Those camper homes on the hill, keep them in your landmarks for Bruxelles, and then it's a left-hand of Speaker's Corner, all flashing green, so everybody's held on. Ooh, looking at that car ahead of Julian, which is Jandre Dippenaar, the back end step out, and we're in car with Julian, I think it is, in the High Revolution car. So yeah, it's a lot of concentration to be done. This circuit keeps you busy. It does give you times to relax as well. As you can see, there's quite a long straight section, but then there are quite a few gear changes that you've got to go through. There's a right-left combination. I just need to see my markers to see where we are on the circuit. Then straight again before another right. I think this might be Campus. And another right. See if there's a house. There's the house, then that's Stavelot. So that house to the left there, that tells me that's Stavelot corner. Then they'll be going on, it'll continue to the right, very gradually through Curb of Paul Frere. There's a bridge that's up to 6th gear for the Astons and the McLarens, the BMWs in 5th. Then the left is Blanchimont, and they'll see the grandstand in the distance, which will slow them down for the chicane.
Just looking at the tyre selection, most of the drivers going for hards. Julian has got a hard front and a medium rear. Peter Geldenhuys is medium all round. Tony Belafonte, medium all round. Sean Johnson, hard front, medium rear. And Bessel Viljoen, hard front, medium rear.
So what I saw initially on softs were probably what they still had on after the sprint race. But I don't think you want to. The guys were talking in driver's briefing that this track is quite severe on tyre wear, and it's a long circuit. Well, they only run for an hour, whether it's long or short or not. But I think the fact that it has quite long sections, I was surprised that so few, but they're the guys that actually test it, so few cars are on mediums or a hard medium combination. Also in driver's briefing, the drivers were told that if you exceed track limits, you are going to be warned. There's one of the beamers flashing lights at one of the cars ahead of him. He can flash all he's worth, but he's got to pass. He's got to make the effort to pass because this is for position, of course, so early in the race. The car is not being lapped, so he does not have to get out of your way.
Quite a few battles throughout the field, actually. We have Harvey Goosen 17th right behind Sean Johnson. Hopefully Sean's going to have a better race than the first race. Didn't seem to go very well for him.
Harvey seems to enjoy this circuit. He seems to be going quite strong. Early yet to look at lap times, as Harvey uses more than the track, has both sets of wheels beyond the white line. He'll probably have some muttering in his ear by the race director.
Got a nice drift on while he was going off track there and held it nicely.
Yeah.
Johnson just ahead of him. That is the only McLaren 720S in the field. We have one other McLaren, that is a 650S, the older model.
Is that Donny that's challenging just behind?
Just in front of him, yes.
Oh, just in front. Sorry, I've got it the wrong way around. So Donny Belafonte is in 15th and Sean Johnson in 16th position.
Sean looking up there, up inside maybe.
I'm not sure what gears the Porsche get to on this track. As I said, I didn't go around in a Porsche, but certainly some of the cars getting into 6th and the BMW very definitely not getting out higher than 5th gear.
Sean gets up to 6th, yeah.
Here's the grandstand out of Sean's car, and if you see the grandstand, then you know the chicane she's coming. Right, getting your car in the correct place, in the correct line for what's coming is important. They get down at the end of the straight, they get down into 1st gear again. Then they cut the apex. He actually missed the apex a little bit. And now it's downhill all the way as far as your car will go. The Beamers go into 5th gear. The Aston, as an example, goes into 6th just before they hit Eau Rouge. Hit maybe is the wrong word, before they attempt to go through Eau Rouge. And here where they go through Radillion on the left, you actually use quite a bit of curving. Oh, there a mistake by one of the Team Harder Racing guys. Just let's see whose that is that falls away. It is Chris Collison. He's fallen way off. He's down in 16th position now. I wonder, there Harvey Goosen even goes past him. So I wonder what happened to Chris as they went through Eau Rouge. Were they going through Eau Rouge 2 abreast? We didn't actually have sight of that.
I did see that looked like Sean Olivier making a pass on someone. I don't know that was Chris, but maybe he's got damage and that's why he's just ambling around.
The back end, the fairing on the back end of that car is missing on the left side.
Okay, so obviously a collision there, bit of contact, and that's damaged his car. Maybe the tracking's out or something, and he's probably got his steering wheel off to the side.
And this, of course, is only 7 minutes into the race, so he could still get back and try and have that fixed.
And he should, because he's definitely fighting for the championship. He can't afford to have these bad results, so he's going to have to fight for his points.
Yeah, indeed. So,
of course, his number one challenger is his teammate. Jason currently sitting in 3rd place, which he might inherit 2nd place, because in front of him is Adrianel, who has got a penalty.
Yeah, I'm not sure what penalty he has, whether he's got to serve it in this race or whether it carries through to the next race. But certainly Jason is not making life very easy for Adrian. Adrian running the number 15 car, which is a Porsche for the Midnight Code team, and the car behind him in the blue, the Team Harder Racing, is the Aston Martin. This is the descent down the straight, preparing for a rouge. I don't think you want to try and overtake there. No, certainly not.
Look at the sparks coming off Adrian's car.
Yeah.
There's a car loads up.
Certainly compresses the suspension completely. Now it's virtually straight for a long section. As I said, some cars go into 6th gear at Kemmel. It's a slight right-hander. But as say the BMW as an example stays in 5th, and then they're all down to 2nd gear for this right, left, and as they go out of the left, they're into 3rd, and then they have Malmedy, which is right again, and they'll be into 4th, all the way down to Brussels, and there they'll be down into 2nd gear again. You see the trucks on the hill is the marker for Brussels, formerly known as Ravage. Then up the hill there they'll be, or down the hill again into 3rd gear to Speaker's Corner left, and then it'll be 4th, and just after the bridge, depending on the car, round about that bridge, they'll get into 5th gear. Before the corner for the double gauche left, they'll be into 4th again. It'll be left, and more left. And then they'll head down the hill and get into 5th gear out of the corner again. The Aston actually gets into 6th gear before they go into the right-hander, 2nd gear again. And Les Fagnes, you see those tents, it's a nice indicator that it's actually Les Fagnes, and then they'll be into Campus, which is a right-hander, and Stavelot, wait for the house, don't actually see it out of this view, the house is on the left-hand side, I think you just saw it for a minute there, and then they'll be off again through under the bridge, and then it'll be going left away from, sorry, they're going right, I get my positions mixed up, right, and more right. That's after Stavelot. I was a bit early on one call. Oh, using track and a bit more is Jason. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are really pushing hard.
That wasn't Jason, by the way. That was Sean Olivier in the BMW. Similar looking with a
one
dark
set
blue.
of cars behind.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. I thought actually it was Gerrit and Adrian and Jason. If you look at the car colors,
Very
and
similar.
I won't make the mistake because Adrian runs in orange, Gerrit runs in green and yellow, and Jason runs in the blue. So there I see now the flash of white. And in that time, it's Tonio de Lima that in fact leads. He's made up the position. Tonio de Lima is 9th, Sean Olivier is 10th, and Richard Sillier is 11th.
Oh, Sean taking a nice tight line. It seems like Antonio got a slightly better exit.
Yeah, the grandstand is what you look at. There the car compresses, becomes light on the top of the hill. There you use quite a lot of the rumble strip, not all of it, but certainly a lot more than is normal. But Antonio de Lima, the second of the BP racing cars, Gerrit Beekes, the number 9 car. Let me just find him. Gerrit Beekes, sorry, the number 3 car is the first of the BP racing cars, and he's leading the field. He has a all-time best for the whole race at 2:19.095. That's the fastest lap. He ran a 19.5 the last lap. So certainly he's keeping up the pace for all that he's worth with 49 minutes to go.
100% not having the kind of round like he had at the previous round where he was, I think, in 4th place overall. Not showing the pace around you, which is a surprise, unless he just had an issue in the first race that's put him at the back because he was quite far back. That definitely isn't his pace, and he's just struggling to get through the field at the moment.
That BMW M4 GT3 of his, maybe he or the driver or the setup in the car is not as favorable as he would have liked, but certainly somebody that is enjoying this circuit is Gerrit Beekes. 1.5 seconds ahead of Jason Underwood.
Quite a commanding lead at the moment.
In that BP Racing colours, can't miss them. Chicane again, and the straight for one more lap. Oh, who's it that pulled off to the side there?
That looked like Harvey Ghost.
It could be. Let's just see. Harvey was running actually quite well, and he falls a lap down. I wonder whether there's something went wrong on the car. Him and Chris Collison a lap down, so Chris is out of it for this race, for all that's worth.
It looks like he's heading into the pits.
Yeah, certainly not the way that he would have wanted to end this race. So, yeah,
unless it's damaged, he might be getting repairs. We see Adrian Nell in the pits at the moment as well.
And Adrian was running in the top 2-3, so a certain change up, unless he's serving his penalty. That's a possibility as well. You did say that he did have a penalty. Now, I'm not sure how the server is going to penalize him. I know that you did say in grounds briefing you've got to hold position, and I assume, note that I assume, and I'm not a judge of fact, that you have to hold position for the duration of the warm-up lap.
I'm just seeing he stopped at 35 seconds, so to get to this point was already 35 seconds. If he goes at 45, that was a 10-second stop-go.
Yes, so did serve that penalty. Now he's got to come back and try and fight. He's in 16th and more cars go past him. He's in 18th position now. Not sure where Richard Silvier and Rudy van der Westhuizen are. They might get past him.
There we go.
Remember, there's a Rouge, and I don't have anybody in sight behind him, so he'll join back in that 18th position. To keep
Now
to the
promoted
right
Jason up to second now, so Jason is now second, and of course that also puts Jean-Louis du Toit up to third. He's had some great races before this. Race 1 tonight didn't seem to have the pace, but of course tonight, for the feature race, he seems to be doing quite well. He's got Stanton right behind him. So Stanton having a good race. Stanton, I believe, was 6th in the first race, but the pack was quite close between, I think it was 3rd down to 6th, or 2nd down to 6th was quite close.
Yeah, only a 6-lap race, so the sprint race finished quite tight. But these guys would never say this is a 1-hour race. But that being said, Stanton has told us that they run 24-hour endurance races. So this is nothing unusual. This to them is a sprint race. Stanton trying hard to get past Jean-Louis du Toit's number 737, but he got the exit of that corner wrong, and Jean-Louis just stretched the legs on him a bit.
He seemed to be a lot more hesitant on the brakes.
Yeah, so not sure if Stanton actually is getting that corner right. The chicane is very tight. They're down into first gear for that chicane, which starts the pit straight, as it were. And then they go through the gearbox again, and they're back into first gear for La Source, or otherwise known as turn 1. So to be in and out of first gear twice in succession, and you don't have much time to rest, you arrive at high speed in the highest gear you can for the chicane, then you accelerate out of the chicane, out of first gear, all the way down the straight, probably as high as 4th, I think is what I did detect, and then all the way back into first gear again, out of La Source, and then through the gearbox again in the highest gear you possibly can in preparation for a Rouge. So a lot of work in actually, well, take the chicane as a complex. In 2 corners, between 2 corners you've got, or approaching the chicane and exiting La Source, you've got a lot of work to do in between.
You see Julian again. Fantastic view, being able to see the drivers and what they actually have to do to get the cars around the track.
Julian in 6th position, I think he'll be quite happy with that. He will always try and improve on 6th and hope to get a podium. But I think I can't recall where he qualified, but he certainly had a good sprint race, and now in 6th position with some of the guys that have gone off for penalties and whatever the reasons may be. So Chris Collison is still shown as a runner and has a personal best in Sector 1. So he's still fighting hard, although he's a lap down, and he's a long way back from the rest of the pack. So he's hoping that something happens to the cars ahead of him so that he can pick up some points. But Jason Underwood is 3.8 seconds behind Gerrit Beekes, who seems to be running a very good last lap of Gerrit at 2:19.6 and Jason at 2:20.36. So it looks as though Gerrit is staying ahead of Jason and stretching fairly comfortably.
Peter Gelden is now under threat and being passed by Andre Besson.
So Andre Besson is car number 4 in 9th position, and Peter Geldenhuys is car number 88 in 10th position. They get to the chicane. There's Tonio de Lima, I think, in front of them, and Andre Besson getting past Tonio de Lima, I think that was.
Yes, now Sean Olivier in front of him.
Right, so they're still fighting for position.
Andre is showing some pace. He is coming through the field. He's now up to 8th place. He definitely had an issue in the first race and was held up and just maybe taking his time coming through the field.
Yeah, That being said, with more than 40 minutes to go, this is after all an hour race. You're not going to win it in the first 20 minutes. You've got to make sure you survive it for at least the first half an hour or so and take off. You're not going to pass everybody on the first or second lap. You've got to do them slowly but surely, one at a time. Think of the strategy, take note of where they slow and you might be quicker, and then use that to your own advantage. Build up a knowledge base to get past the car in front of you. Sean Willifee, let's have a look. He's running in 7th. His best lap time a 221.1. His last lap a 222.7. So he has shown some pace, but compare that to the 219.1 of Gerrit Beekes, the best lap, then you can see that 2 seconds a lap that you're losing. Then certainly on a circuit like this, there aren't many laps, which is probably a forgiveness that you're not going to end that far back. But still, in 60 minutes, they're probably going to do something like 28 plus laps. No, probably about 26, just giving a rough calculation there. But Sean is running ahead of Andre Besson and Tony de Lima in the BMW car, and they seem to have settled into those positions now.
Just to remind everyone that there are tyre options. If you're seeing the tyre colours on the left, this is what they are. Red is soft, yellow is medium, white is hard, and blue would be wet. And most of the drivers choosing to go for hards. Some of them have chosen to use mediums on the rear. None of them have gone for medium all round.
It looks as though there's somebody. Is that
Andre Besson into the pits?
Yeah. I wonder what that is for. So he's from 9th position. So he falls down into 10th. We'll see where it ends up. I'm not sure, Dennis, can you see whether he was handed out a penalty of any description?
Not that I'm aware of, unless he's going for a different kind of pit strategy, thinking the tyres might not last. Maybe he's going to put some mediums on and go to the end.
He drove straight through, by the looks of it.
Then that must have been a drive-through penalty. Although the pits are the second half of the pits, so they are still, there's another car in front of him that looks like Peter Murray also in the pits.
Interesting. Certainly all sorts of things happening here. As you said, are they using the second set of pits? As
Yes,
it were?
that's the endurance pits, yes.
Yes.
The first set is what the Formula 1 uses, but there's not enough garages for the endurance.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
Formula 1 have 20 cars and we have 26, I think, that started tonight. This does appear to be a drive-through.
Yep, indeed it was.
Whatever reason that may be, but it's not for us to ponder why. We just tell you what we see, and certainly we did see him driving through the pits. Yeah.
Stanton Augustus right behind Jean-Louis Dutoit at the moment. Of course, we have Monet Dutoit in our YouTube watching, so good evening, Monet. Hopefully you're enjoying watching Jean-Louis having a good race. And of course, good evening to everyone else on the YouTube. We haven't really been keeping up with the YouTube, but we have James Crook in the YouTube. Good to see you, James. We have Basil van Rijn. Good to see you, Basil. And some of the other people that are new as well. Good evening, everyone.
Always nice to have people that we know that are watching the channel, because then they can tell us whether the sound levels are right, things like that. But what we have in front of us live at the moment is Stanton Augustus pushing really hard to see if he can catch a podium finish with Jean-Ray Dutoit. So Stanton's pushing hard in that Porsche of his, and it's going to be interesting to see whether he's going to catch. Stanton runs for the Fach Autotech eSport team, and that being German, so that's why the CHs are pronounced the way they are. And he has a teammate, Donny Bellafronte. Now, we haven't said much about Donny tonight, but I'm trying to see where he's running at the moment.
Donny is in 11th place. Actually having quite a good round tonight.
Yes. So that'll be good for the team points as well, because they are amongst the top teams, and we'll have to wait and see whether the Fach Autotech eSport team, who are in fact second, stay ahead of BP Racing. Now that's going to be difficult because Gerrit Beekes runs for BP Racing and he's in the lead at the moment. So Jason Underwood, Team Harder Racing, they're just running away with the championship. So the fight is actually on for second and third in the team championship. So Donny and Gerrit combined in the BP Racing team, they're probably going to close up. Although the gap is 50 points between BP Racing that they're behind the Fach Autotech eSport team. So all to race for in the team as well as the individual championships.
We have a nice battle at the back with Stan Bezuidenhout and Wessel Viljoen. Wessel right behind Stan.
Stan takes the wide line and then cuts the apex, which is sort of the racing line. But see how far down the field they are.
And not too far behind, 3 seconds behind, we have Andre Besson, who's come out the pits behind this battle. It's also going to be a bit difficult to get past him while they're battling like this.
Yeah, so it's Andre, then Andre Besson, number 4, catching up to Wessel Viljoen, number 92, and then Stan Bezuidenhout, number 36. So that's 16th, 17th, and 18th that they're fighting for position.
Peter Murray is right here, but he, of course, is a lap down. Cars in front of him on, so he's going to be trying to unlap himself.
He does that successfully on one of the cars. And who's following him through there?
Andre Besson. That's Andre Besson.
Okay.
Now, Andre Besson is not a lap down. He's actually part of the battle, so you see the blue flags being flashed there. So Peter moving over. Now he's going to have to give back the car that he's just passed. This is the difficulty with trying to unlap yourself.
Yeah, you've got to unlap and get way ahead of so that he has no chance of catching you again. And then you have the blue flag counting against you.
So Andre Besson down to 17th place after serving what looked like a penalty. Let's see how far up through the field he can get through tonight. I mean, he's definitely at the pace to get up to what was at 8th place before the penalty, so perhaps he can get back up to 8th place, maybe a little bit higher. Not quite halfway through the race. As he gets up the inside there of Stan.
Yeah, Stan holds the line nicely, doesn't block at all. Stan Bezuidenhout having a good race. That's our sponsor for the series as they get through the chicane to start a new lap.
Right, so what's happening at the front? At the moment, also Adrian Nel, after serving his penalty, currently sitting in 14th place.
Long way to claw back.
Trying to get past Andre Hildebrand at the moment.
Yeah, if you look at the time differences of the best laps at 2:19.57 by Adrian versus a 2:23.36, and there's only 0.1, so I should imagine he'll be passing Andre within the next couple of seconds.
Just got past.
He's just done so now. There's the Martini Racing colours of Andre Hildebrand.
Oh, and Andre getting a bit loose
14th.
There. That was
I managed just
nice
to claw
save.
back. Yeah.
Probably need some new underwear after that. That was
Yeah,
very,
you
very
can't
close to the
not-
ball.
You cannot not concentrate for an instant because there's another corner looming up in you. The only place that is after Eau Rouge, once you settled on that straight down to Les Coombs, that you can maybe just flex the fingers and get it on into top gear, whatever car you're driving, whether that's 5th or 6th gear. And then, yes, once you get approaching that again, there's a lot of gear changing, and then there are quite a few corners in quick succession. Oh, there's somebody going beyond the track limits.
Wessel Viljoen, yeah.
Race director probably giving him a warning in his ears there. So Wessel has to keep that in mind. And Wessel is in 18th, so he doesn't really have to fight that hard. They've got Stan in front of them. So he's probably going to try and pass Stan, and I think, no, not quite yet. So Stan holds onto his position, which is allowed to because it is for position. Oh, and there's a spin. Whether that was a touch or not, I'm not sure, but certainly a spin there behind Stan.
Yeah. I don't think it was a touch, but maybe just unsighted by the drivers coming past.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. So DNF for Rion van der Westhuizen. Which isn't going to be pleasant for him. Donovan Vermaak is 5 laps down, but still circulating. And his last lap was at 2:23, which is his best. So maybe Donovan is still learning the circuit. I think Donovan is one of the new competitors in the championship.
Murray just getting a penalty now. I'm not sure. He's just serving that now. Was that for running off track, or was that maybe for not adhering to the blue flags?
Now, they will know. I'm not sure if it gets enunciated in their earpiece as to what the penalty is for, but they would probably get the. He runs with a Namibian flag on the roof. You can't miss that. So great pity for Peter Murray. Where is he? He's down in 23rd position. So Harvey Goos also 3 laps down. I don't think Harvey, whatever went wrong with his car, he's not. We were saying he was actually running so well in the sprint race. I think he got a 16th place finish. And then the main race just wasn't for him.
Both of the Fachtek Auto Esport drivers in good battles at the moment. So we're currently watching Donny Belafonte chasing Sean Johnson. 2 of them are moving through the field quite nicely. And Stanton Augustus having a nice battle as well at the front.
Donny, car number 996, is in 11th, and Sean Johnson, number 52, is in 10th. The gap there is about a second. And then the one that Stanton Augustus is in, Stanton runs car number 997. He's in 4th place, and he's chasing Jean-Ray de Toy, car number 737, the green one, and that's also 0.7 of a second. So there you can see it on track now. That is Stanton in the white and red Porsche, chasing Jean-Ray in the green BMW. Got my numbers correctly. I've got the car wrong. It's an Aston Martin that Jean-Ray runs.
One of our Boeing brigade.
Yes, we haven't seen 777 for quite a while, and you did tell me last week why not. So I don't actually even have it on my entry list.
So, Monet unfortunately is not driving anymore. He is in the comments, so he's watching at least.
Yes.
He's still part of this.
Oh, you did say that he'd, I think, given his rig to somebody or sold his rig to somebody else?
That's right, yes.
Yes, so the number 777 is shelved for now. So it's the baby Boeing running in isolation. But certainly a nice battle that they're involved in.
Yes.
Both of the Fach Autotech eSport teams. Stanton staying that half a second and a little bit less behind Jean-Ray de Toy, number 737 there in front, and Stanton in the Porsche behind him. Stanton's certainly not going to make life easy for him. That Porsche seems to get through there quite nicely, and actually keeps the left-hand wheels inside the white line, whereas Jean-Ray drifted both sets of wheels out, beyond track limit. Whether that'll be a muttering, it wasn't that much, but I don't know how far the limits are set or how strict the system is. But Jean-Ray de Toy certainly knows that he's being chased by Stanton. What's happening between first and second? Gerard Beekes is ahead by 7.25 seconds. Jason is ahead of Jean-Ray by 5 seconds. Then it's the battle that we're telling you about. I'm just scanning down. Donny Belafonte is the other one, 3/4 of a second behind Sean Johnson. And then there's half a second behind that Vessel Viljoen. Car number 92 in 17th is behind Stan Besaidnout, number 36 in 16th position. So a few battles raging, but other than that, everything seems to be quiet on the Western Front.
I'm sure it's going to all kick off with maybe 15 minutes to go as everyone starts to get the hurry on.
Yeah, we have less than 29 minutes to go. Just to give you an idea, you can see it ticking on the top left there. 28.5 minutes to go. Might actually be a little bit more, depending on where the race leader is when the time ticks by. Stanton Augustus just holding position, but Jean-Ray running a very clean line and holding that position. Let's look at their last lap times. Stanton did a 2:21.5 and Jean-Ray did a 2:21.4. So Jean-Ray extends his lead, but by 0.1 of a second. So as good as makes no difference.
The gap fluctuating depending on the part of the circuit they're on, but looks like it's kind of stalemate at the moment. They can catch, but they can't pass.
In Afrikaans, what's known as a trekklavier. I think it's I've got to think, what's a trekklavier? Is it a xylophone?
I'm not sure. You're asking the wrong person.
The piano keys on the one side, and then what key or chord you're playing in, C or D or F or G, whatever it is. I don't play. The only musical instrument that I do play is the fool, and I'm quite good at that. But yeah, Jean-Ray Detroit and Stanton are in a very nice battle. Let's have a look where Donny is. Donny is a second behind Sean, so that seems to be holding station. But Stanton Augusta's half a second, and you can see the gap there visibly. He's not making life easy for him at all. Jason Underwood stays that 5.6 seconds ahead of Jean-Ray. So Jason's got nothing to worry about the car behind him, but I don't think he's got any aspiration of catching Gerrit Beekes. That BMW just in a league of its own tonight is Gerrit.
Yeah, he's definitely put the laps in. He had an amazing amount of laps on the board, just like he did at Long Beach, but it seems to have paid off here. He's had the pace throughout, well, I would say the whole week actually. So it's definitely giving him the result that he deserves.
I don't even drive the circuit, and it took me, I spent, I wouldn't want to guess how long, but at least half an hour that I sat in various cars going around the circuit, putting up where is what so that I know where I am, or pretend to know where I am on the circuit, and I still get it wrong. So driving the circuit, you've really got to know it well and where your gear change points are and that sort of thing. This part of the circuit everybody knows very well. You can't miss it. It's such an iconic complex. I wouldn't call it a corner. And the fact that they've made a lot of that tarmac has made that set of corners a lot safer than what it used to be. We have seen some horrific accidents there in the past. They seem to have got it sort of settled now, but I think the drivers also know you mustn't act stupid going through a Rouge, because it's just not worth the devastation that could result out of that. And a nice racing line, a well set up car, good entry, good exit, using the curbing right. You've got to get the good combination. Whoever owns that house must have one of the prime spots as an observation point in motorsport, if ever there was one.
And I'm sure they have lots of friends when it comes to race day on Formula One days.
Yeah, certainly. Is this Donny that's up on
Sean Johnson?
Sean Johnson, yeah. He sort of had a bit of a weave there, just make him visible in both of the rearview mirrors. So Sean Johnson will know all about him. Sean Johnson runs for Sim Experience SA, and that car very, very pretty indeed. It just looks so squat on the road, and whether he's going to stay ahead, we'll have to wait and see. So interesting times as they run Sean Johnson in the Sim Experience SA car.
Oh, Donny getting a little bit of loose there.
Yeah, this is that left, continuous left. And then if I look at my notes again, I find the tenths. That tells me they're at Les Fagnes. So you see the markers, those tenths that you see there, that's a right-left combination. And then they get to Campus Corner. And Campus Corner was named because of the Campus Automobile company just adjacent to the track at that point.
And of course, right behind them, we've got Adrian now closing in. So the gap currently just under 6 seconds. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be coming. He's got 24 minutes left to go.
By comparison, Adrian now running 2:19.6s, and the cars ahead of him are all running high 2:22s, almost 2:23s. So he's 4 seconds a lap quicker than they are. He's going to pass Donny Bellafronte soon, if he hasn't passed him already. He's half a second or so behind him. Then he's got 7 seconds to go to Sean Johnson, so that'll take him a few laps. But Adrian Nowell knows that he's got battle on his hands, but every car that he passes is going to be worth a few points. Right, he's passed Basson. He's got 4.5 seconds to Donny Bellafronte. He'll probably catch. He can see Donny, but we'll do a Murray Walkerism and say catching him is one thing, passing is another. But then again, on this circuit with that long straight after Rouge and Radillion, he'll pass him with the greatest of ease once he actually catches up to him. But Adrian Nowell still flying at 2:19s. So 5 seconds to catch and then to pass. Let's just see under the guys that DNF'd. Chris Collison, DNF.
Okay.
3 laps down. Donovan Vermaak 5 laps down. And Rian van der West is in the DNF.
Pity about Carvey. He seemed to be having a good race. Unfortunately, I guess something has happened, but he definitely had some good pace tonight.
Yeah. So Donny keeping Sean Johnson honest.
Speaking of keeping other people honest, we have Stanton Augustus right behind Jean-Louis Dutoit.
For podium, this is third position that you see the hunted and the hunter. It's a very, the Porsche going beyond the white line. Has a look on the inside. Can he position the car for the next corner? No, he doesn't. He'll have to give that back. He backs out of it completely. You've got to be passed before you get to the chicane, because the chicane goes the wrong way. You actually got to get back to the right-hand side of the circuit to do a block pass. But as he did now, and very fair racing, hats off to him. Well done, Stanton. He realized that if he's going to turn in now, he's just going to cause an accident. So he backed right out of it. Allowed John Ray to take his normal racing line and live to fight another day in the next, look at the race, 21 and a half minutes.
Yeah, so we've still got a third of the race left to go. So lots can still happen. Anything can happen at the front. You never know, this might be the battle for the lead at some point.
What's interesting to see is one mistake like that, where you actually think about doing a pass and then have to back out of it, and just look at the race distance between himself and John Ray Dutoit now. So you had to back right out of it, you lose the momentum, you get out of the second part of the chicane a lot slower than you normally would. The car in front of you gets on the throttle a lot earlier than what you can. And if you look at again, what used to be 2 car lengths is now 120, 150 meters and more. So just one little mistake, and I wouldn't call it a mistake, judgment error, shall we call it that, and you lose all that hard work that you've done. You have to come and fight for it all over again.
I'm not sure, but I believe Andre Hildebrand is currently the top driver in this race for the veterans.
Andre, Marius and Harvey is way down. Marius is in 17th and Andre is in 14th.
So definitely the top driver in the veterans at the moment. Having a good race.
Points difference between Marius was in the lead with Andre second and Harvey in third. But depending how far he was back, there could be a switch around. I'm not sure if they get allocated points in the veterans first, second and third different to, or shall I say, as a separate class, as it were.
Their points are the same as everyone else, but they also can get categorized overall and as the veterans.
Okay, so they race as a race within the race.
Yes.
Okay.
That's just something to make it a bit more of an attraction for them to aim for something.
Yeah. But with only, I think, 4 veterans, I suppose they have less points that they can possibly score, but nonetheless it stays an interesting... You have to finish to get the points, of course, and at the moment, Harvey is 3 laps behind the whole lot. Wessel Viljoen comes up with a DNF, so I'm not sure what went wrong with Wessel. And he falls down, and JP Sillier up into 20th with Wessel going down the lap scoring monitor. Donovan is still going, although he's second to last. Well, last is Ruan van der Westhuizen with a DNF. So Donovan, if nothing else, is using this as an experience to learn the circuit.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of Donovan tonight, but he is there. His team name has also changed. That is not correct. He's in Weldmec is not correct. It'll be corrected for the next round.
You know who's not here today is Timo.
Yes, I was wondering where Timo is, and I think Timo would have gone well. Yeah, I think his car would have suited the track as well.
Yes. So interesting, because he runs Minions Racing all on his own, and it's in 5th position in the team championship. So he's actually had a good championship so far, but you can't score points if you don't make it to the circuit. But for whatever reason, Timo's not here tonight.
Andre Besson got another penalty on the previous lap. I'm not sure what for. I would presume it would then be for track limits if he's getting it. So I just want to see him going through a rouge. Does he veer too far over the white line on the exit? That looks very cautious.
Pretty well mannered, yes.
I wonder if that's because of the penalty the previous lap, because maybe he was a bit too aggressive there, and now he's just making sure he doesn't get a penalty again.
Well, nobody can say that they didn't know about it, because it was mentioned very distinctly in driver's briefing that you will be penalized.
Yes.
track limits are exactly that. Those are the limits that you should not exceed. Even though you are able to drive beyond the track limits, it's not the thing to do.
See, Julian Brains getting past
He's
Rudy van der Westhuizen and having a good race.
Yeah, Julian's in a solid sixth. He's almost 2 seconds ahead of Sean Olivier, and his lap time, the last lap, was a bit slower than Sean Olivier, so you can expect that battle to get a lot closer pretty soon, with Sean Olivier catching up to Julian. Sean Olivier runs car number 137, and that is a BMW Thorax Racing. And he's catching up to Julian, who runs car number 40, and that is a Porsche for High Revolution Racing.
Now, Sean also has been one of the faster drivers at some of the circuits, but definitely not either had the time to practice or just not had the car for it. But at some of the tracks, as we see Rudy van der Westhuizen giving him a bit of a tap there.
Now that was 50-50 at best.
That was a bit naughty as well, because that's not position. He's a lap down on Sean. He shouldn't be doing that. The stewards might have something to look at there if Sean is to report that.
Yeah, so now it was where I said he was catching up. It's now 4.4 seconds that Sean is behind Julian. So still everything to race for with 16 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think there will be some tracks, and I think the round that follows this, Mexico City, in our pre-season test, Sean was extremely fast there. So we might see Sean back up at the sharp end of the field when we get to Mexico City, or Mexico Grand Prix circuit, I should say. Mexico City was the older track.
Yeah. So, guys, but then again, bumming seat time can pay dividends if you actually do spend the time on the server going around getting to know the circuit. All I remember of Mexico from F1 proper is that it has that, what shall I call it, strange layout going through the double grandstand. It's a sort of S-shaped curve.
Nice to drive through that in the sim. When you have the VR on, you go through that, you see the buildings, you go between the two grandstands and the one that goes overhead. Oh, it's really nice.
Yeah. See, the guys are just touching the brakes through that corner. So whether it actually slows them down enough here, it looks as though this is Stanton again caught up to Jean-Ray. Not quite caught up to, but I think Jean-Ray will know that he's there. The gap only 1.5 seconds, but this is what 1.5 seconds looks like. For those of you that was wondering, he was a lot closer and then had a error in judgment for the corner. It wasn't a mistake. It's just that it's not the place to pass if you're not past the car completely, and that's the chicane going into the main straight.
Stanton has let us know that the Porsche, as the fuel load goes down, it gets a lot harder to drive. Some of the cars with the fuel load going down, it gets easier to drive because it's lighter. But Porsche, because of the nature of the construction of the Porsche, it becomes very, very difficult to drive.
Probably the shift in center of balance, if anything else.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the fuel tank is, but obviously the engine is right at the back. You have this big lunk of weight there. Maybe the fuel tank is further forward, and as the fuel runs out, the weight ends up going further and further back.
Then she'll be likely to understeer, which means you turn the wheel and the car carries on going straight, like he had there. The car didn't turn the corner at all, almost, and he had to have a second go at it. And that makes life very difficult. If you actually can't, you've got to go through the corner a little bit slower because the car doesn't want to actually take the corner. But let's see, it was 1.5. It's 0.9. So he's catching up to Jean-Ray. Now, 737, Jean-Ray's car is an Aston Martin, and I'm not sure what the handling characteristics of the Aston Martin are as that car gets lighter. So
that's a front engine rear wheel drive. Most of them, I think they're all rear wheel drive. That's front engine. The Porsche is rear engine. And of course, the McLaren is mid engine. The Ferrari is mid engine.
So from a balance perspective, the McLaren and the Ferrari would probably be, having mentioned Timo earlier, Timo runs the Ferrari, and I think he's the only one that does.
Timo is in the Corvette. Sorry, yes, Corvette.
Sorry, he's in the Corvette. But that's rear engine as well.
Yes.
Sorry, front engine rear wheel drive.
That's the same configuration as the Aston in theory, but I don't think it handles as well as the Aston. It's more about sort of low down torque for that car.
which means low down torque means that you accelerate out of a corner earlier, and you have the pulling power as kilowatts determines how fast you get to go, and torque determines that you can actually accelerate from a low speed. You get to accelerate quicker.
Let's see how close they can get to Eau Rouge. Stanton is being a bit cautious.
Those are back markers. They might just be a little bit too far back, in that those back markers will be in front of them when they get to Les Coombs and Malmedy.
And it's the two teammates fighting each other.
Themselves.
Yeah, Team IBF USA.
Yeah, so they're using all of the road with their two cars. So it'll be interesting. One of them using the off-road version. It's not going to actually tries to get off the road so far, allows the remains out of the way of the race leaders, but that's not good news for Stanton Augustus, because he's now got a back marker sandwich between himself and Jean-Ray Dutoit, but they let him through, which is well done, sir.
And unfortunately for them, they swapped positions as a result of that, because Stan was actually behind and now he's ahead.
I don't know whether the race director is going to be talking to Jean-Ray after that last corner that Jean-Ray took well beyond the white line. Once again, people, I'm not a judge of fact. I just tell you what I see. And if the system allows them to carry on with no penalty, then so be it. But certainly, that's the way that I saw it. There again, just marginal, as is also Stanton. Interesting if they both get a penalty and they drive through the pits behind each other.
Yeah, on this circuit, the white line dictates the track. So there's Stanton going beyond the white line. And if you're seen by the game itself, so you've gone beyond the white line and not eased off, and you've gained an advantage, it does give you a penalty. So the penalty system is a 5-point system, and the points are broken up into sub-points. So depending on how much you cut the track, it might give you a 0.1 or a 0.2 off the penalty, and if it's a flat-out proper cut where you gain a couple of seconds, then it might give you a couple of points. So you have to be very careful.
As we see there, Stanton had only 2 of the wheels over the white line, which is allowed. You don't have the whole car beyond the track limits. Back into first gear again for this La Source, and then they'll be setting up for Eau Rouge and Raidillon all over again.
And Andre Besson now coming back through the field, not making up as much as I thought he would, right behind Andre Hildebrandt at the moment. Andre Hildebrandt actually doing well in 13th place at the moment, being our top veteran.
Yeah, in the Martini Racing colours. And the BMW of Andre Besson, number 4, he certainly is trying his best to get past him. So it's BMWs are at each other. Easy cars to identify from the front. And it's for position, so he doesn't have to get out of the way. He has to fight hard to get past Andre Hildebrandt. I see Adrian Nel has got past Peter Geldenhuys. So Adrian up into 9th position. Tony De Lima in 8th, and Tony 8.4 seconds ahead, but Adrian Nel about 1.5 seconds a lap quicker than Tony De Lima. So it's going to take about 5-6 laps at this pace to catch Adrian, and there's only 8 minutes. So will he be able to end up 1 position higher? We'll have to wait and see.
It's probably going to be 4, maybe 5 laps. So it's going to be close. And with a tyre fall off at the end, you know who's going to have more tyre fall off. Apparently the Porsches aren't very good on low tanks, so let's see how it goes towards the end.
Paddock leads by 11.3 seconds on Jason Underwood in 2nd. Jean-Ray Dutoit 3rd. He's another 8.8 seconds behind. Stanton Augustus within a second of Jean-Ray Dutoit for 4th. And Jan-Andre Dippenaar 5.5 seconds behind Stanton. That's the top 5. Julian having a good run. Julian Brains, car number 40, is in 6th position.
And Gerrit is about to lap the 2 drivers that we were just watching. Andre Hildebrandt and Andre Besson.
And it's Eau Rouge coming up, and certainly if you can get the pass done before the approach or the entrance into Eau Rouge, you can do so. But other than that, I think he'll hang back. He'll take them down the back straight there between Raidillon and Les Coombs.
Quite a drive through there compared to them. I don't know if they were backing out of it, possibly.
I noticed in the cars that actually feather when they go through Eau Rouge. My goodness, I thought he'd slipstream past them. But then again, all cars are quick when they're in a straight line. You don't have to have racing skill to keep a car fast in a straight line.
Just a heavy foot.
Feathering the throttle takes as much as 40 kilometers an hour off your race speed through Eau Rouge. So I thought that was quite an interesting observation. Nice driving there, sir. Just hangs back, allows him through. It's the race leader. Don't get his race ruined for him. You can come back and fight your race again. And certainly he will definitely do so. If he catches up to Andre Hildebrandt in the Martini racing car, that's Andre Besson in the number 4 BMW M4 GT3.
I'm pretty sure that Carrot will win the round overall as he now gets past Andre. Oh, Andre Hildebrandt moving over to allow the leader pass, and Andre Besson taking advantage of that and jumping past.
Very, very sneaky. And I wonder whether he didn't think about that ahead of time. If he could just stay behind Gerrit Beekes, Gerrit Beekes running number 3, and so it's BMW and BMW, and if he could use the draft or the slipstream of the race leader, he used it very, very well to get past the Martini racing car of Andre Hildebrandt. So 3 BMWs that you see, but the 2 of them, the orange and the Martini racing colors one, have been lapped. But having done the pass, he seems to get rid of the Martini racing BMW quite easily.
I think he's got the pace, and this is nice because he's got the pace. If he can stick fairly close to the leader's going to get the other drivers to move out of the way, and he's just going to slip past.
Yes, which is the intelligent thing to do. Gerrit Beekes still holds the quickest lap time of a 2:19.095. So not he gets the sprint win.
Andre in the background having a half spin, saving it though.
The sprint race win, and if he carries on like this, the main race win and a bonus point for the quickest lap, which I don't think anybody is coming close to at the moment. There are a few of the guys that are running 2-minute 20s, but nobody in the 2:19, and it's not only a 2:19, it's a 2:19.095, so it's a low 2:19. So Stanton, how far Stanton? He's within a second again after running slow, and with the back markers that were involved, he's within a second of Jean-Ray Dutoit. So with 5 minutes to go, certainly has a chance of catching and passing him, and I think he'll be thinking of that quite seriously.
As is his teammate, also in a battle still with Sean Johnson.
0.8 of a second between Donny Bellafronte and Sean Johnson. That's for 12th and 11th. Cars number 996 is Donny, and 52 is Sean Johnson.
Gaps throughout the field are actually starting to close. We've got Peter Gelderhuys in the previous lap did his fastest lap.
Peter's running in 8th position.
Yes, yeah.
It's just he doesn't have anybody behind him to challenge, because Sean Johnson is 33 seconds behind him, and he's only got 3.6 seconds to Adrian Nel, but Adrian Nel has just passed him and is running 2:19s. Actually fairly good 2:19s, 2:19.5, almost, well, that's his best, sorry, my mistake, a 2:20.1. Now let's see ahead of him if anybody's quicker. So all the cars ahead of Adrian Nel are slower than Adrian Nel, and he has 4.4 seconds to catch Tony De Lima. So is he going to be able to do it? We'll have to wait and see, with only 3 3/4 minutes to go.
And the sunset now starting to become an issue as well. Certain corners, I think, might get in the guy's eyes with the sun. You can see the shadows crossing the track now.
And certainly the cars are making themselves. Donny Bellafronte is making. Oh, that's Donny got that corner. I was about to say and there we just said reversing onto the track should not be allowed, but nonetheless, Donny was, I wonder whether he was battling with the steering on the Porsche, because I was about to say he's making himself very visible behind Sean Johnson, but now all of a sudden he's 12 seconds behind him, and I think all of that hard work comes to naught.
Adrian Nel catching up to Tony De Lima as well. So that's going to be a close battle towards the end.
It was 4 seconds, it's now only 1.5. The last lap at 2:20 by Adrian and a 2:22.6 by Tony De Lima. I think he has a chance of taking that back. Depending where the race leaders are, there is only 2 minutes 39 to go. So if they've crossed the line, if these guys we're looking at now further back, they've crossed the line already. They'll probably cross it one more time, the lap they're on plus one more for the race leaders. So these guys will probably also, it all depends where the flag drops, where they find themselves, whether this might be their last lap. Just trying to see how far back they are. Adranel is off. He's 66 seconds, so he's a minute, more than a minute behind the race leaders. So the chances are he might have this lap and one more as well. So Adranel now less than a second behind Tony De Lima. As somebody comes out of the pits there. It's the Martini race. No, it's not. It's one of the PZM cars by the looks of it.
Yandre Dipno, I'm not sure if he was in the pits or what, because he was suddenly dropping down. I don't know if he just ran out of or into a rouge slightly odd, but he seemed to come out of the pit lane. I don't know if it was from being in the pits or just a mistake.
Well, the system doesn't give him a last lap time.
You can see his rear tires are gone. You can see how he's drifting the car there.
Yeah. And that was one of the things that the people said, you know, are the tires going to last? And Yandre is on the hards. Maybe it's just his driving style and the way the car is set up that it has, you see there, he's way beyond the white line. And you certainly don't want to be doing that and have the system, first of all, fighting the car and then fighting the system as well when it mutters in your ears that you must stick to track limits.
Yes. Right behind Peter Geldernes at the moment. Peter Geldernes having a great race as well.
In ninth?
I think one of his strongest rounds so far.
So, great run for him.
Fantastic looking Shell livery as well. Shell Helix.
Yes, the Helix. The Helix color is certainly very nice on the car. You can see Peter Geldernes.
Oh, and Yandre again getting all tail happy there.
Yeah. Peter Geldernes, let me just find him here. He's running mediums and he's made them last, which is very interesting. Finding ourselves so far down in the race with 17 seconds to go. Where are the race leaders?
Race leaders are. Where is this? Sector 1 or Sector 2?
Okay, so they've come past. This will be their last lap as the time has run out now. It's fine. This is this left, the double left. I think this is double gauche. If they go right now with the tenths, not past tense or present tense, but erected tense, yes, there they are, my landmarks. That means they are through Les Franes now. It'll be Campus next. And then Stavelot. We look for the house with the black top roof. Look left. Do we see it? Not quite. But that, I think, is Stavelot. And then they'll go through a series. Wait and see. Here they are now. Is this Stavelot? No. Here they come to the left-handers now.
And of course, Andre Besson has stuck with him the whole way since that other incident.
Very clever driving. I think this is the approach to Blanchimont now. And this will be the chicane, if I'm on the right piece of the track. Oh, using the rumble strip and a bit too much of it, I think, is Donny. Here comes the race leader for the flag, in my opinion.
Yes. There we go, victory. Double victory and fastest lap.
Now, many points for the BP Racing team. And the BP Racing team is in third, or went into this round third, and they were 50 points behind the Fach Autotech eSport team, and Stanton Augustus is in fourth position, so they will definitely be scoring points for the Fach Autotech eSport team. But Donny losing position, actually finishes behind Sean Johnson, but in 12th position. So there's
Stanton getting good fourth place for Stanton, flashing the lights as he comes across the line. You see in the background Marius van Wyk and one of the IBF USA drivers. Julian, a fantastic fifth place. That's really amazing. I think that's his best result ever.
Yeah, so a good result for you've got to be in it to win it. And Sean Ulifi, only 1.5 seconds further back. Adranel looks as though he finished in 7th position ahead of Tony De Lima. which is the second. There's Tony De Lima coming over the finish line now in the second of the BP Racing. So they're going to score fairly well. In 8th and 1st is the BP Racing team, considering they're in 3rd in the championship, or they were in 3rd. And the Fach Autotech team get a 4th and a 12th. So interesting to see where the points will end once you tally it all up, Dennis. An interesting race.
I see Mornay du Toit in the comments saying he's waiting for his new rig and his Moses steering wheel. Can't wait. I'm not surprised. Direct drive wheel will definitely be an amazing purchase. I'm very jealous.
Yeah. Do you think it's better to run this racing in VR or to actually look at the screen ahead of you? Your opinion, Dennis?
I think VR, certainly on a track like this with undulation, is going to help. You can feel the track a bit better, and I find in VR I can judge the perimeter of the car better.
Okay.
So certainly through like Eau Rouge, there we see Donny running wide there. Through Eau Rouge, you'll be able to place the car much better and get less track cut penalties.
Yes.
All right, I think that's the final driver that hasn't crossed the line.
Is Donny Belafonte. Hopefully they don't penalise him for drifting. Mind you, he didn't influence anybody or gain any advantage. So I think they'll be lenient on him for that one round.
Rudy has parked it virtually, and I think Richard has not crossed the line. All right, let's jump to an ad break and we'll be back with you shortly.
Great stuff.
Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF USA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF USA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBF USA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBF.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are live for the interviews of the Sim Experience South Africa IBF USA GT3 World Series Round 6 from Spa-Francorchamps. It has now come to an end, and we are joined with our top 3 drivers, which are first place overall, Gerrit Bucas, and second place, Jason Underwood, and third place, Jean-Louis du Toit. I think, Sean, let me leave the questions up to you, and I'll see if there's anything I can throw in afterwards.
Right, great. Gerrit, first of all, well driven. Stunning sprint race. I'm not sure he actually got the fastest lap in that one, but not that it's a point nonetheless. And then you had not only the race win, but a bonus point for you in the 1 hour race. You spent a lot of time in the seat. You must be very happy.
Yes, yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this. So yeah, I see. I was actually the only one that was on softs for the sprint. I'm not sure. I saw a lot of mediums there, and I was quite worried about that. But yeah, it worked out. I seen Nell was coming in very quick, but yeah, I kept it together.
No, great race. Jason, your blue machine just couldn't chase the yellow and green today.
Yeah, beaten fair and square, Sean. Gerrit was in a league of his own tonight. I gave everything I could. And when I say everything, I mean everything. I even told the dogs to go to the neighbors because they're irritating me. But no, fair and square, man. He was far too quick and fully deserved. So well done.
And even Jean-Ray, another one that runs an Aston. And your number 737 looks as though the Astons didn't have an answer to the well-tuned, well-balanced BMW this evening, Jean-Ray.
Yeah, no, with this track, the Astons really struggled. Even against the Porsches, I think the Porsches could have put up quite a battle as well. Through Sector 2, though, they would just come in. The Aston wasn't good through Sector 2 at all. But nonetheless, well done to Gerrit and even Jason. I couldn't even catch him, and he has the same car, so he also did a pretty good race. So well done to everyone.
We certainly had fun, and it's a long lap. And then another thing, if you get a penalty, it's a long pit lane. So certainly we did see, we're not sure what they were being served, but we did see a few penalties being served tonight. Did you guys, I'll ask you, Gerrit, but you seem to be in a race of your own. Did you exceed track limits and have the race director speaking to you at any stage?
Yeah, I exceeded once, but I think there was a back marker in front of me. I had to go wide a bit there, but yeah, it was just one.
Yeah, no, certainly a great race. Dennis, over to you.
All right, just for records, the sprint race, Adrian Nel had the fastest lap, so he got an extra point for that. Unfortunately, he's one of the drivers that did exceed track limits and got a drive-through, I think it was, for...
No, actually, he glitched out. With the formation lap, he was told to let Sean Olivier pass, who was, I think, all the way back in 23rd.
Okay.
It showed up on his screen, so he just got the penalty for no reason, really.
That's
unfortunately.
A shame. Yeah. All right, then perhaps we can get some final words. Let's start with Gerrit. Gerrit, any final words?
Yeah, just congrats to the other guys and on to the next.
All right, and Jason, any final words from your point of view?
Yeah, once again, well done to Gerrit and Jean-Ray. Again, beaten by the better man, and we'll move on. I think it's Mexico City next, which is a nice long straight once again, so hopefully the Aston can shed some weight. But yeah, well done to everyone. Dennis, thank you. Sean, always a pleasure, and see you next week.
Yeah, it's not Mexico City, it's just Mexico. I think Mexico City was the old layout of Formula 1 track there. I also called it Mexico City in the stream. But in the practice we've had before, I think Sean Olivier was very fast there, and even Jean-Ray as well. So I think it might actually suit the BMWs as well. So that could be quite interesting.
Great stuff.
And
Yeah.
don't forget Timo, who wasn't here tonight. He could have added an interesting mix into the...
Yes, definitely. So I'm sure we'll see him next week as well, and we'll see how that goes. But then also, Jean-Ray, any final words from your side?
Yeah, no, just thanks to the organizers and the commentators. And then once again, well done to the podium guys. It was a really tough race.
Yeah, thank you guys. Then myself and Sean will just have a couple more words. I'm just going to drop you guys all out here, so we are alone for now. So thank you once again. Sean, coming into the next round, of course it is Mexico. It's going to be a track some of the drivers haven't driven at before. It's a very long circuit. It's quite a nice circuit. Like you said, the final sector has those grandstands that you literally drive under. There's a grandstand to the right, grandstand to the left. It's like a curved sort of grandstand on the right and a couple of square ones on the left with a bridge going across them, or I think it's a sign across them. But that's quite a fantastic, I guess as a driver, when you drive through it, it's quite a fantastic scene to have that. It's quite spectacular, but it goes through a very tight corner onto the main straight and a very, very long straight. So this could be a circuit that does favor the faster cars, but the BMs in practice have been quick there. Perhaps the latter stage of the championship is going to favor the BMs more.
We'll have to wait and see, because one thing that did change, I think, tonight's result quite a bit is that Adrian Nel was penalized and then just didn't challenge. If Timo Smit comes back, that could add another element. The Astons were quick, but not quicker than the single BMW. And do we see a shift of power now that Gerrit has his BMW sorted out and has the confidence in himself? He said so. He could always put one lap together, but putting a whole hour's worth of laps together, and it looks as though he did that considerably well tonight. Is he going to repeat it in Mexico?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think there's going to be a lot of questions that need answering, and we'll see when we get to the next round. Just an update on the championship points as well. So Jason is now ahead by 261 points from Chris on 220. Stanton is now up to 202. Gerrit is now up to 4th place in the championship on 190. So he's jumped Gendre. Gendre is now in 5th place on 182. Adrian in 6th place. So unfortunately, Adrian having a bit of an issue at the start. We will change the start procedure slightly for the next round. So at the moment, the way it works, we have it automated. The safety car does its thing, but occasionally that does do weird things, and that, I think, caught on Adrian out tonight. So from next week, what we'll do is we'll just allow the driver that's in the lead to become the safety car, and that way we don't have that glitching issue again.
So we'll actually just run the first race at the leading car's pace, but it'll be part of the race, if that makes any sense.
Correct, yes.
The first lap.
So, all right, thank you to everyone for watching, and to all the drivers for attending, and of course to yourself, Sean, and to everyone watching, remember to hit the like and subscribe button. So I'm going to say goodnight. Sean, any final words from you?
Good night, everybody. We'll speak to you from Mexico.
All right, good night, everyone. See you next week.